January 1st, new beginnings are here. And the new beginnings are not necessarily because you speak out into the ether that you have a new year resolution. But it's even prepared for you from the heavens and how the planets are aligned and houses or signs, closing up energies, opening up energies. We are at the beginning of endings. We're at initiations. Going forward in a higher capacity. This time around, the new beginning is about you living out the story of your most authentic expression. Everything, and I mean everything, is about authenticity. It's about being authentic this time around. Not fake, not phony, not the bandwagon. Public opinion. Keeping up with the Joneses. What the people say. You wait to hear what is a popular opinion, what is a popular thought, what do the people say, what do the people agree with, what do they disagree with, and now you have something to reply with. No, this is consulting the heart. This is consulting the instincts. Scorpio is upholding our reality as authentic beings. Scorpio. Because Scorpio brings us back to our instincts. We had to deal with Chiron, the wounded healer, through Aries, because we had to heal any injuries, inhibitions, hesitance, incompetence, sense of inadequacy concerning the identity, the most authentic self, Aries, first house. Your first house expression. We had to reconcile with that. And in reconciling with it, we healed our fight or flight impulse concerning the amygdala, which Scorpio rules. And through this, we can produce sincere intentions and actions that are not fear-based. Actions that reflect our will. And the will is reflected in the heart, soul, urge, value, or number. Numerology, the value of the very day of the month that you were born. January 1st, 2025. How we starting off the new year. New year kicks off with Vesta entering into Scorpio. Mars retracing back to the door of Cancer. One more degree to go. We have the North Node at the same time, positioning to enter into Pisces at the last degree of Aries. Simultaneously, Venus, same position as Mars in degrees, prepping to enter into Pisces, 29th degree. Mars and Venus at the 29th. We also have Pluto. At the first degree. What this paints in a cosmic sense is a gun shoots in the air to start the race. We're going forward. Full and complete reality. The horse is saddled. What's that old rock song back in the day? Back on the saddle again. Back on the saddle again. Understand, New beginning across the board. New beginning across the board. Understand? January 1st is a time where you need to have your sneakers tied up, stretch and flex, drink your water. It's the point of no return. Forward motion. Take off. What Vesta is going to do in Scorpio is what's most important. Vesta takes your sexual energy and transforms it into a concentrated effort and commitment to self-development, to well-being, creativity, making victory of what you got. Mind you, sexual energy is what is transformed. So if we are in promiscuous habits, we tap into that energy and we pop a hole in the concentration, the pressure that has to push us to a superheat to make results with that. So promiscuous habits, it takes away from the power of Vesta. Is this the same in marriage? No, it's not. No, it's not. Promiscuous habits and marital sexual relations are not the same. Vesta represents integrity. It represents purity, chastity. Understand, they're not one and the same. And when you go against the grain of your morality, your values, chastity, purity, sincerity, all of your virtues, you chip away at the power of Vesta that's trying to work and generate opportunity in your life. Vesta draws off of the sexual energy of both Virgo and Scorpio. Virgo taking the high ground, Virgo taking the lower ground. Through through Scorpio, the lower ground is through transformation. We walk through the dark, we step in puddles, we make errors and mistakes, we burden ourselves with our decisions. We become disillusioned because we were not aligned with truth, or we were not accepting truth or rejecting truth. And Scorpio is what makes sure that we don't miss the bus. We got to take a speed knot. We got to take a black eye. But Scorpio's going to make sure that we hit the bus on time. Even if we got to get on there with a speed knot and a black eye. Because Scorpio transforms you from the venom. When this is self-inflicted, when this is persistent, when you are willfully inflicting yourself, no, that is not the same. Understand, in your ignorance, this is the case. Not in willful disobedience to that which you suffered to know and understand to be right, good, or true for you. Understand, we're not going to make excuses. We're going to keep it real. As far as Virgo, this goes to the number 9 Hermit card. Understand. Being able to hold out, having self-restraint, having integrity, not compromising the mission for our lower desires, chastity, purity. This comes into Scorpio, Vesta, and it shares effort with Juno. Juno gives you the staying power, the commitment to where I have a monogamous focus on my Scorpio body, my Scorpio algorithm, my Scorpio process, which is I realize I have to transform myself from who I used to be and who I realize I need to be. I have to transform myself into the most authentic version that I can produce of myself, that I can sustain. And there's a lot that goes with transforming yourself. I'm devoted and committed to my own instincts. I'm devoted and committed to whatever it means to surrender to truth. I have loads of disillusionment to accept, and I have to align with what is true, even though I didn't want it to be true. And it takes time to process that, to transform. And that's why Juno was there, giving you that commitment, that devotion to yourself, for yourself, to see that process through. Juno, by this time, the 1st of January, will be at the last decan, the last 10 degrees of Scorpio, which is manifesting the Phoenix stage of transformation. The Phoenix. You've already went through the ego phase of transformation, which is the 2nd decan of Scorpio. The 2nd decan of Scorpio, it is where we retreat in order to regenerate. Retreat. We have to sharpen our tools, sharpen our beak, sharpen our nails, pluck out the matted feathers so that we can be effective and efficient in hunting and confirming our destiny. We've completed that process. By that time, by January 1st, we have completed that process, and now we are ready to come out. In coming out, we are manifesting the version of ourselves that is the Phoenix. You were down, but now you're up. You disappeared, you went down low, you got out of Dodge, you went quiet, you went missing, so you could regenerate. And here you are, risen from the dead. Risen from the dead. Come forth, Lazarus. So this is the phase of ourself that we're at with Juno entering the last decan of Scorpio. You are going to come out to be visible now. A new version of yourself that is visible. Inheriting new levels of responsibilities and duties that you are manifesting. And that is indicated by the fact that the sun is passing through Capricorn. This is still during Capricorn season. It's worth it to mention that the sun will be conjunct Pallas, actually Pholus at this time. And Pholus is manifesting details, experiences, unforeseen events that may overwhelm us, but however, it accelerates us into higher position, into favorable position. It pours generously material, information, experience that's favorable toward our destiny. Initiating parts of ourself that has to have an accelerated development, which usually is with details of experience. Fated experience. Not long after that, the sun will conjunct Pallas Athena, and this is where your best skill and wisdom will be on full display. You'll be doing it like you used to it. It's like you're riding a bike and you remember how to do it. You're going to get a glimpse of your skill and your craftiness that you developed from the past lifetime. And now you have a mastery of it. And it's on display. And this is the illumination of the Phoenix, as I was mentioning, the details that comes together with it. The sun passing through Capricorn does represent a phase of ourself that's awakening a new infrastructure, duties, responsibility process that forms a new character, that fills in a new character. And that, of course, equals a new rank in our life. that we have achieved or obtained. Now, Vesta, working with Juno, Juno giving us the staying power, the commitment, the monogamous focus to transformation in the phase of the phoenix. We have risen from the dead. We have transformed. We are new now. Vesta is bringing in a concentration of purity. And that purity is, do not contaminate this process. Do not compromise this process through contamination. And it goes through the sexual impulse of Virgo and Scorpio, so that through both gates of our sexual impulse, we will not spoil or ruin the concentrated effort to become. We will not ruin it. This gives us a sense of chastity and focus, sincerity, and reverence for the process. The reverence for the process makes sure that our resources, our efforts, our energy, our time is considered and felt as being sacred as we go through very deep, transformational, emotional processes that has us to use our resilience to face and deal with truth, disillusionment, the ugly truth, the hardships and challenges of moving true power as an authentic expression, as an authentic person. You're going to run into the good, the bad, and especially the ugly if you are being authentic. You're going to run into rejection, power struggles, jealousy, and envy. You're going to run into shadows of yourself that you don't like to see, but you must persevere. And we have favor from this universe through the impulses of Vesta and Juno, assisting us to not give up, to not give out, and to not share this process with any other focus except for, I must show up for this in power. I must transform. I must meet the demand and not fail. I don't have a choice. If I don't swim, I'm gonna drown. That is this expression. Now, Mars at the 29th degree of Leo is looking up, closing up our Leo Mars review of ourselves, which is, I've had enough introspect on what was behind my need to express my light, to express my heart, to express what I'm about, what I really mean, what I got to shine with. And now we have to go into the emotional inner workings that's behind this need. Mars is working with inner child. Leo is the expression of inner child. Cancer is the emotional demands of the inner child through emotional security, nurturing. So as we start and embark on this new journey, Mars, soon after, will enter into a water house, Cancer, to make sure that we are advocating for ourselves and the emotional nurturing that we need. So that we are advocating for the emotional security that we need. Speaking up for ourselves. And in retrospect, because this is retrograde, introspect that is, we are also considering the details of righteous anger, making sure that our impulse for righteous anger does not spoil the mission. Although we may be frustrated, angry, upset, unable to express ourselves or get the point across, we learned in the direct motion of Mars in Cancer just a few months ago that we had some errors in how we were expressing. We had some errors in how we were getting our point across, and it almost compromised the mission. This time around, we walk with that insight. So now that we are going in real time, live in our life, we're in the real timeline. The retrograde is giving us grace. Every retrograde gives grace for us to pay attention to those details. I don't want to spoil it because of my righteous anger. Just because I feel that something isn't right, it doesn't mean that the other person understands that it's not right. Just because I'm frustrated that the moral value, that the etiquette principle is missing, being overlooked, fairness is not there, consideration is not there, or even possibly some rights are not there, it doesn't mean that the other person understands that. So I have to be wise in how I express this, how I get my point made. Be assertive without being aggressive. Righteous anger. My anger is justified, but oppression, abuse or overbearance, that is not justified, and it will get me nowhere. I can compromise the mission. So this is grace that goes along with that energy. What this also indicates is we're going back in time. Going back to November, September, November, themes are going to come back up of frustration, emotional sensitivity, and we're going to run right back into it again. But this time, you have the insight of experience, starting over with experience. There's a difference. That plays into this. Mars going into Cancer at 0 degrees, 1 degree, leaving out of Leo. There will be a sense of newness, but yet familiarity around emotional sensitivity. Remember that Cancer, Mars, it's the frustrated baby who can't find the nipple. Its anger and frustration is justified. But how productive is it if we can't find proper communication and if we don't have self-restraint? Understand, maturity. We have to rise into a very high conscious so that we can be effective and not destructive. Understand? Pluto Pluto's at the 1st degree of Aquarius. We're finally coming out of the 0 degree where there is silence, emptiness, stillness, the quiet before the storm, anticipation, nostalgia, looking back, anxiously waiting, boredom. Understand? The 1 degree, the 1st degree, the action starts picking up and accelerating of Aquarius themes. And when action starts picking up and accelerating of Aquarius themes concerning Pluto, what this suggests is that Aquarius themes are going to touch your power centers. And it's going to touch your power centers with challenges to your power. Challenges to your power. It's also going to challenge your psychological capacity. Not your emotional capacity, your psychological capacity. Your ability to see through illusions. Your ability to stay focused on what is true, what is real. How you show up for disillusionment. Temptation. Your power versus their power. And rather not, you learn to pair authority with power to be wise, to be effective. Aquarius themes could look like matters of innovation, matters of connectedness with society, friends, colleagues, the three or mores. The three or mores. Group settings and collaborations, the world market connecting with through technology, having effect out into society, having a sense of independence, self-reliance, and authenticity as you move with others in enterprise. This is a different approach than with Capricorn. With Capricorn, it was we all show up the same way for the same reason. With Aquarius is I know who I am, and it's important for me to remain who I am. So I have to negotiate my way through this introduction to make sure that who I am gets preserved and not compromised. Understand? This is different. Pay attention. Pay attention. Ceres is in Aquarius to make sure that you have everything that you need. Look how merciful and mindful God is of you. You have Venus leaving Aquarius, heading into Pisces. A new beginning in Pisces with Venus. And Venus in Pisces is a beautiful transit. It's harmonious. As Pisces and Venus have a lot in common. This is going to pick up our attitude and processes of dissolve. And what processes of dissolve means through Pisces, dissolve, we inevitably have to let go of certain forms that we carry from the past timeline. And through Pisces, we dissolve form. Now, what part of our form has to be dissolved? It is the astral body that gets dissolved in this timeline through Pisces. The astral body. Venus carries the astral body. The astral body indicates cultural ties and association that you have with others. For example, you may be a person who's a liberal. You may be a person who's a conservative. You may be a person who likes rock and roll music. You may be a person who likes hip hop. You may be a person who likes to go fishing. You may be a person who likes to box or work on cars, race cars, or whatever. And as you go throughout the community, you can't help but recognize others who have in common what you have in common, how you relate. That is a common astral body. It's when we are alikes. It's when we relate in a feeling base of things that we enjoy or like to do, or how we express ourselves or show up in values. Understand, common values. Venus is a lordess of Taurus, and Taurus rules values. Understand. Venus also rules the house of relationship, Libra. So what we feel connected, well, who and what we feel connected to, associated with, or identify with, Venus is going to dissolve it from the past lifetime, the past timeline. Understand? And what's happening now is we in real time are going to reconfigure who we identify with. And through the reflection of others, it sharpens our identity. It confirms our identity. Because through others, we can come to realize exactly who we are in certain parts of ourselves. Because it's reflected back to us, sharing common values. So this is where the dissolve aspect of Pisces comes in with Venus. New beginnings and who we relate to. New beginnings in who we relate to, who we associate with. Remember that feminism is fallen, liberalism is fallen, and those who used to subscribe to such culture, they are spirits, ghosts, wandering throughout the earth without identity or association. This is a time period where many of them who may have some sincerity in their heart are going to find new associates, new friends, new circles that they relate to. They're going to discover that, hey, I have become someone different and I no longer conform to that. Understand? Along with that, North Node, leaving Aries, finally complete. We are in the world and reality of Ogun, the god of war, Mars. So with the North Node coming into Pisces, remember the 0 degree is nothingness. The 29th degree is finishing up. So with the North Node at the 29th degree, Aries, we're closing up and finishing up final details, the mess, sweeping the floor, picking up the trash of all that it took to become authentic again. The last conversations around that theme, the last argument around that theme, the last meeting around that theme, the last moment of reflection around that idea or theme. And as North Node goes into the 0 degree between Aries and Pisces, there will be a stillness where we get to ferment and rest in what we have concluded of those detachments from what was in the way of our progress to authenticity. When the North Node gets to the 1st degree of Pisces, this is when we begin downloading Christ Impulse. Pisces, Christ Impulse. Christ Impulse culminates wisdom, love, compassion, understanding, and of course, truth. Or higher frequencies that dissolves all dimensions. Collectively, this is what we're going to gather. And collectively, we are going to have a consciousness that dissolves all forms that were given to us. What does it mean, all forms that were given to us? All socializing programming, social engineering, the smoke that they're blowing up your ass from the government, things of this nature. All the tricks that are being tried to be pulled on the people collectively. We're going to see through all of it because the Christ Impulse through Pisces, it dissolves all forms and allows you to see the true essence of what is in and behind all things. We also are downloading higher levels and frequencies of tolerance, oppression, collectivism, understanding. And understanding is the best part. Understanding is greater than wisdom because understanding reflects love. This is when we become capable of all things. Everything becomes possible. Everything. We are at a new stage of human existence. A very high frequency with the North Node at Pisces. We are downloading Neptune and Jupiter frequencies, which are of the crown chakra and beyond. This is bringing into us a 7 vibration. A 7 vibration, the sage. A Jupiter vibration, the creator. This brings together number 7 and number 3. 7 goes with Neptune, 3 goes with Jupiter. You bring the two together, you get 10, and the 1 goes back to the Magician card, which is the sun, creator. Understand? Leader. Manifests anything out of nothing. These high frequencies, understanding is the greatest attribute of these frequencies. We are going to share collective understanding. And that means tolerance. That means forgiveness. That means compassion. That means love is more possible and more accessible. Love. Forgiveness is more easily to arrive at as an understanding. Collective effort. Taking care of each other. Securing each other's backs. This is what we're going to see more of. Because it's at the first degree for yourself, you want to know what house this is in for you. And whatever house this is in for you, that's where you're going to have a new beginning. If you don't know what that means, ask the question down in the comment section. Ask questions. Pisces North Node is going to address public mental health crisis. Why don't we have enough facilities? Why don't we have enough help? Why is there so much homelessness? The conditions of our jails and prisons. All institutions of the earth that produces care and housing. Understand? Pisces deals with the blood. It deals with the blood. So this is going to introduce collectively efforts from the people of purification, purifying the blood of America. In fact, President Trump said those exact words about the blood of Americans. Now, I may not agree with the context that he meant from it. I don't even know exactly the context that he meant from it. But I am saying that he literally said that verbatim. However, Pisces representing blood, purification of blood, if you add Neptune to it, the nation is going to be up for purging and purification. And what does this let you know? Illegal aliens, okay? Illegal immigrants. They're going to be purged from the nation. Pisces and Neptune represents those illegal aliens who came into the border. That's what Pisces and Neptune represents. So it's going to be a purging of that. Understand? A cleansing concerning that. South Node Virgo begins at the same time. South Node Virgo begins at the same time. And this is the beginning of you being confronted with your efforts to appear perfect to everyone. To look like you have it all together, but you don't. And you're going to have to surrender to the fact that you can't pull that Instagram image off. Your relationship, your career, your professionalism, your character, your car, your house, your life circumstance, whatever it may be, you're going to have to surrender to the fact that you're going to be in a fishbowl concerning South Node Virgo. It's going to be known that you are not as perfect as you're trying to make yourself out to be. And you're going to have to accept it. Self-acceptance. You're also going to have to accept the fact that you are replaceable. Every person is replaceable. You're going to have to accept it. You're not special. South Node Virgo. So with that being said, these are important details to consider in a timeline that's coming up. Now, Pluto transiting at the first degree of Aquarius, this also represents initiations of merging and mergences. Okay? So, what I mean by this is where the beginning of thoughts, conversations, investments, taking risks, getting into the 8th house with merging together of forces, powers, resources, identities. Let me give an example. It's recently been proposed that Nissan, Toyota, and Mitsubishi are going to merge together. And this happens every so often in how we get innovative developments, innovative products, innovative processes. Everything is about innovation through Aquarius. Creation is something of a single identity. That's Aries. That's Mars. Where the idea, the impulse, the thought comes from Sun and Jupiter. However, when we're talking about innovation, which is through Uranus, this has to bring together ideas that have been successful, ideas that have been useful, perfecting what has been, making more efficient what has been, improving upon what has been. So Aquarius is an area in your life where you're going to have to merge together with others, join forces, become one with others who are of equal to your value. So this is where you come into the 8th house with other power, resources, and talents, personalities. And now you're part of producing an innovation to a process, a product, a company, an entrepreneurial mission to have a greater outcome. Collectively, we see where this is at in the government. Donald Trump is putting together an amazing force that reflects that of the Avengers. Individuals who are well accomplished, well experienced, who used to be the underdogs of the system, the underdogs of society, now managing operations according to what they themselves once suffered or have been subject to. People who have true expertise in the office and mission, collaborating together to do what was never done. For example, you have Ramaswamy, Vivek Ramaswamy, and you have Elon Musk merging together to form DOGE, the Department of DOGE. RFK Jr. over public health. The border czar. Unique collaborations that are coming together. Newly formed because it's at the first degree. So if you look at the workplace, if you look at entrepreneurial businesses that that you're on, or collaborations that you have anticipating, this could be in family if it's in the 4th house. This could be with the children if it's in the 5th house. This could be in your community if it's in the 3rd house. This could be with your spouse if it's in the 7th or 8th house. 10th house, career. 6th house, definitely career as well. Depending on what house you have Aquarius, that lets you know where you can look for merging together to innovate an outcome that requires your expertise and talent and identity to accomplish that which is bigger or greater than you.